Now we all have memories of our mother's wonderful cooking and the dishes she created for us as kids. I for one learnt all my cooking in my mother's kitchen, and my recipe today is going to be something that I learned from her as a child, and I keep making that often. Welcome to Sanjeev Kapoor Khazana. This is Shailaja, and my recipe today is my mom's chicken stew. So this is a really easy and delicious chicken stew. You can even use either mutton or just plain vegetables on days that you don't want any meat. So let's take a look at some of the ingredients. Chicken, boiled cubed potatoes, boiled and sliced carrots, finely chopped onions, ginger garlic paste, cinnamon sticks, bay leaves, cloves, peppercorns, coarsely crushed pepper, cornflour, chilli powder, coriander powder, garam masala, salt to taste, oil. Okay, so we've got all our ingredients, and let's begin with making of this wonderful chicken stew. Now what I like to do is I would prefer to brown the chicken a little bit before I start with the onions. And the reason we're going to do that is when you brown the chicken prior to putting it into the onions, it actually seals the juices in the chicken and it keeps the chicken really tender and moist, and it comes out really well. If you want to skip this step, you could always just fry the onions and then put in the chicken, but trust me, this little tip really works wonders. I'm just going to add some oil. Our pan seems hot, so this is just the plain chicken. I haven't seasoned it with anything. You really don't need to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and add these pieces into the pan, and this is just going to take a couple of minutes to brown, and we'll just keep turning them around a little bit so that you see both sides are evenly brown. Of course, this chicken is not cooked so fast. It is going to take a little while, and that we will come to when we proceed with the rest of the recipe. You could actually turn up the heat a little bit. The high heat helps sear the outside and the juices stay nice and keep this chicken moist. So this has been frying for a couple of minutes, and I can see it's nice and brown on the outside, and that's what we want. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to just remove this for the moment. So I'm just going to take it out in this bowl. We'll keep this aside for a moment. So we're just going to use the same pan, although I'm going to need a little bit more oil. So I'm just going to go and add some more oil to this pan, and then we can go ahead and add some of the whole spices. So I'm adding some cloves, some of the peppercorns. The bay leaf gives it a wonderful flavor too, so a couple of the bay leaves, lovely cinnamon, couple of sticks of cinnamon, and we'll just let this fry for a couple of seconds. That's looking good. Next I'm going to add in the chopped onions. So the onions are a nice medium brown, so I'm now going to add our chicken that we have browned from earlier on. Now the chicken has a little bit of water that has come out of it. Don't throw that, that's the best part. That's going to add flavor to this lovely stew. So just let this mix with the onions, and now I'm going to go ahead and add some of our spices. So a little bit of the chilli powder, coriander, and some crushed fresh pepper, which really enhances the flavor of this stew, and we'll just give it a quick stir. Now ginger garlic, normally when we make an Indian curry, we would usually add the ginger garlic in with the onions and fry it along with the onions. But I just have a small tip here, and it really works wonders, especially with this stew. You could perhaps even do it with a curry if you like. I have some ginger garlic paste ready here, and what I'm going to do is, rather than frying it directly with the onions, I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this. Maybe just about a tablespoon would be great, and we'll just stir that up. and add it right in here. This way the ginger garlic, I feel, combines really well with the chicken and the onions, and it does not really stick as it sometimes does when you are cooking a curry, and it is just actually a little different technique which you could use. Now, as you have noticed, I am not using any turmeric in this recipe. I want it to be a whitish or a light reddish color stew. So, it is up to you. If you like the flavor of turmeric, you could add some, else it just works great without the turmeric as well. Now, the chicken will take some time to cook. So, I am going to go ahead and add some more water, as that will help cooking it faster. We will just gently stir this. This is going to take about say 15 to 18 minutes, so that the chicken cooks right to the inside and does not stay raw. So, we can just bring this to a boil, cover it and simmer it for about 18 minutes. So, that has been simmering for about 10 minutes and it is still not 100% cooked, but what I am going to go ahead and do is add a little bit of corn flour, and that is actually just going to give it a little bit of thickness and depth. When my mom would cook this, I think she omitted this step. She wanted the stew to be a little runny, and that is just the way she cooked it, but I prefer it to be slightly thicker. So, I have just added about a teaspoon of corn flour and I am just mixing it with water and just let it dissolve nicely, and I am going to add it here, help give it a little bit of volume, and we will simmer this a little bit more. At this stage, one can even go ahead and add the boiled sliced carrots that we have. So, those can go in right here. I am adding the potatoes now. The carrots and the potatoes, since they are already boiled, would work best if you add them towards the end, so that they do not get mushy. So, I am going to put back the lid on and we let this simmer again for about 10 minutes more. Okay, so the chicken has now been simmering for almost about 15-20 minutes and it is looking nice and cooked. So, I am going to go ahead and add the coconut milk. This again gives it a lovely creamy texture and of course, the wonderful flavor of the coconut milk really makes the stew amazing. The stew is almost done. I am going to go ahead and just add the garam masala on top, and you can see the corn flour has really helped to thicken this stew. And last, of course, you want to season it with some salt. Oh, this is smelling so good. I could probably eat it right away. Just mix it up. This is ready and I am just going to plate this for you. And there it is, it's ready, this wonderful chicken stew. It's such a hearty meal. I hope you're going to follow this recipe and cook this for your family and friends as well. Thank you for watching.
Do subscribe to our channel on YouTube if you like our videos. Stay connected. Happy cooking!